Hi guys, Garrett here of Air Rifle Evolution, and today is my third video about accuracy. So what we have looked at so far was the equipment you need in video number 1. In video number 2, I taught you how to practice your trigger control, and I explained to you in detail how important that is. And today we are at a stage where I have to talk to you about cheek pressure, and I have to talk to you about the importance of holding your rifle in the same place consistently. Remember, this is the big buzzword when it comes to accuracy. It is consistency. Now, to demonstrate cheek pressure is easier done than said. So I'm going to go to the shooting range and I will explain further what I mean by that. See you at the shooting range. Stay tuned.
So guys, at last we meet each other on the shooting range. So let's show you what I've got. Remember, you've got your sturdy chair, sturdy table, sandbag if you need one. You've practiced your trigger control, and today it's cheek pressure on the butt. So as you notice, I get myself into a position. I'm going to get rid of the smaller bag, and because I'm using a front rest, my offhand I'm using to support on my shoulder. Garrett, why are you doing this? Purely to ensure that the rifle is always at the same place in my shoulder and in my cheek. And I'm even making sure that the rifle is in the same place on my bag. As I said, this is much easier to show than to explain. Did you see, I did not take my cheek off the butt once in order to see where the lever is to reload the gun. I didn't adjust the bag in the front, and I didn't adjust myself. My elbows are exactly the same space every time I squeeze the trigger. Remember, it's all about consistency. I'm going to show you now from the other side what it looks like. Alright, so guys, this is from the other side. So as promised, from the other side, so that you can see the pressure on my cheek, and that I try my best to keep it consistently. I'm shooting over the rest, so I don't have to let go of my trigger finger. I use my non-trigger hand to support the rifle butt into my shoulder and to ensure that that pressure stays the same the whole time. Let's see. You will also notice that because I'm keeping my cheek at exactly the same place on the rifle stock and my cheek pressure the same, that the distance between the scope and my eye doesn't change. Very important for accuracy. Yeah. Alright guys, so you will see now that I have my front rest gone. I want to show you what it looks like when I'm shooting off my elbows. For a left-hander, to keep his cheek pressure, shoulder pressure, grip in the front of the gun exactly the same, or as close as possible to the same when I'm loading the gun. Remembering that my front hand cannot reach the lever unless I break my hold. Let's see how this goes. So once I've got my body position, here we go. I don't want to change a lot of things. I want to change as little as possible. And unfortunately, if you're left-handed, you now have to tilt the gun, cock it this way, try and ensure that the elbow of my left hand, left arm, goes exactly the same place. to have as little variance as possible between my shots. Now, if I can do this as a left-hander, as a right-hander, you should not even be moving as much as I do. Practice makes perfect. Consistency makes sure that your groups get tighter and tighter. Alright, so guys, it's different with a Springer. With a PCP, you can keep the gun and yourself in exactly the same position. With a Springer, it's differently because of the action of the gun. So in other words, now, when I load my Springer, I have to take my cheek off the buttstock, and I have to move my front arm, and I have to sit up a little bit more in order to cock the gun. So you have to train yourself to find spots on the gun to ensure that whenever you hold it again, that you take it at exactly the same space. Now, you will see I've got checkering on my gun. So I use the checkering and this hole over here and where the gun's cocking mechanism is as a reference point to my front hand. Garett, you're shooting over a bag? Yes, I'm shooting over a bag, but you will see, because this is a Springer, it is in my hand, even though I'm using the bag to support my hand. Let's see how it goes. So now after this shot, you've got to move everything. So you've got to train yourself, like muscle memory, to get the gun back exactly where you found it the first time and where it works for you. If you hear somebody shooting in the background, that's proof that I'm at the shooting range. Nothing wrong with that. It's my business partner, Henry. Again, everything is just moved, but I have trained myself to put my gun in my front hand, cheek at exactly the same space, same amount of pressure into my shoulder before I squeeze the trigger.
So guys, back at the studio, you now understand why I said to you, I would rather demonstrate to you than just chat to you about how important cheek pressure is and the fact that you have to hold your gun consistently all the time in exactly the same place. And that it's different for a PCP than what it is for a breakneck or a spring-powered rifle. Now you have something more to practice when you go to the gun range. You have your equipment, you know how to use your trigger, and now you need to work at your consistency on how to hold the rifle. That the rifle has to be, and the scope has to be away from your eye exactly the same place, that your cheek needs to rest at exactly the same place, etc., etc. In my next video, I'm going to look at sight pictures. Alright guys, so until then, please keep safe, obey the law of your country. Hope to see you on the shooting range soon. God bless. Bye-bye.